All right, you just learned something pretty awesome, that you can have a modifier inside of another modifier. That's really cool. It's also going to stick with you for the rest of this course, and it's going to stick with you throughout life. So like, don't forget that, right? It's pretty important. It's also really awesome. So here's what that looked like. The northern lights shined with eerie light. So we know that this, with eerie light, that's a multi-word adverb, right? It's modifying the verb, which is shined. And that makes sense because it's telling us how the lights shined, right? So the lights shined with eerie light. It's explaining how. And adverbs, we know, tell us when, where, why, and how. Yeah? Okay. So then we broke it down further and we said eerie modifies light. That's also really cool. We know about adjectives and all that jazz. But we're still missing this one word over here. It doesn't have a color yet. It's going to get this color. And it turns out that that word is a preposition. It's what we call a preposition. What have you been learning about already? Prepositional phrases. Yeah? Prepositional phrases contain prepositions. That's how they are defined. Okay? So anything that starts with a preposition, that's going to be a prepositional phrase. And I'm telling you, these things are so common, you will have a sentence made up of just one prepositional phrase after another, after another, after another, after another, after there'll be 10 or 12 or 6 or 4. I mean, just like lots of them just all lined up in a row, right? Seriously, like when you start to see this, when you read grammatically, it's kind of bananas. So, what are we going to do with this? First, we're going to talk about what a preposition is. And I want you to notice here we have this thing, preposition. It has the word position inside of it, right? It's going to tell you positional information. It's going to tell you where a thing is. So you might say, oh, you know, your keys are on the table, or your keys fell off the table, right? You might say something like, the, mouse is inside the house, or the mouse is outside the house. Well, that's better if it's outside the house, right? In or out. Those are prepositions. They give you positional information. They tell you where something is. You could say, my friend is at the mall. I am going to the mall. At the mall, prepositional phrase. To the mall, a prepositional phrase, right? And those words, at, to, in, out, on, off, those are all prepositions. They're telling you locational information. You can also say, my friend is with my other friend, right? So Fred is with Fredina at the mall. See, we got multiple prepositional phrases over there. With Fredina at the mall. There you go. You could say that things are near or next to each other, right? You guys have that idea. Above or below, across, or maybe you're coming from the other side of town. You could say, oh, he's going to walk across town, or he's coming from the other side of town. Those are just similar ideas, right? But it's still giving you directional, positional information. Where is this happening? What's going on? And then we've got up or down. So, end of the day. Preposition has the word position in there. It tells you about position. It tells you the where of stuff that's happening. Yeah? That's really, really useful information. It's going to be great for modifying. And later on, you're going to get into different types of prepositions that tell you about time. So if something happens maybe before or after, those are also going to be prepositions. You can look into those also. But for now, just start out by thinking that prepositions are going to talk to you about where type information, positional information. And armed with that knowledge, let's go conquer the next questions.